you, Rabbi Nelson.
Thank you. So we're on page 6. Okay, you ready? You understand? You have it? Good. Kosev Rabbeinu Zokin, the Alter Rebbe writes in Shulchan Aruch, V'yamid b'mnei beisoi etzloi l'shmoya habracha. When the father makes the bracha, his family household members should stand near him and to hear the bracha. Sheyivdaku ish b'mekoymei, and that each one, whichever place he goes to, shall search as kind of a shliach of the father. V'lo yasichu beintayim. They should not speak, make an interruption unnecessarily between the bracha and their beginning of searching. V'yizaru livdoi tchila b'cheder hasamuch l'mokim sheshamu habracha. The closest room to where the bracha has been made, that's where you should search first. So you shouldn't go, let's say, Moshe, your house, let's say you make the bracha in the kitchen, you shouldn't go upstairs to the room. You should go to the closest place to the kitchen first. Now you could send your children to those rooms if you want. I don't do it that way. I myself go to each room and I have them come with me and help me in the process.
How do you handle when sometimes they begin to lose, like, you're looking and you're searching, you're going from here, you're going from this, and they sort of, you get distracted, this one,
Whatever, I mean, listen, it's you do your best, you beforehand, you say it's you're not supposed to talk, unless it's relevant to the arrest.
Search.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's continue.
Yeah.
The Rebbe writes, it's proper that the father is making the bracha, his kavanah, his intent should be, shemitzvah liskais games b'nei beisoi hakvorim b'bdikas hachometz, that he has a mind for the males to do the b'dikas chometz that are helping him. He says, the Rebbe writes that. And since the father, the balabayas, will search a little bit in addition to his kids, okay, there is a halacha and a concept that when you do a mitzvah, it's best that you do it yourself than appointing an agent to do it for you. So he says it's not a contradiction in this case. In the parentheses, he says, "O mitzvah the best way of doing the mitzvah, sheyu b'nei shlosh esrei shana ve'elech." That those that search, if you're going to have people search with you and for you, they should be over 13. But again, the way I do it, I'm doing all the searching, so I don't need to, you know what I'm saying? And it seems like women are not included in this thing. So here we talk. What? Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, like, in your case, I know, like, the people who are at home are your daughters.
Right. So I have them, I mean, now they're older, but, when they were younger, they tagged along. But I was doing the searching myself. It was me.
Yeah.
And I'm saying when my son was home and, and he's over bar mitzvah, so, again, I don't recall if, in other words, out of the 10 pieces, let's say he found 3, and I didn't search for 3. So in that case, he's saying, the Rebbe says that when I have my bracha, I should have a mind for my son who's over bar mitzvah. That's the best way to do it. So in your case, you have your son. Your son's home. Usher, right? What's his name? Usher?
Usher, yeah.
So if Usher's helping you and he's over bar mitzvah, you have to have him in mind when you make the bracha, and then he can look in a few rooms, and you don't have to go to those rooms. If you want to do it that way, that's fine.
That's an interesting. Okay, that's good.
Again, I don't know. I was raised that my father, searched for all the chometz, so I do the same way.
Did your father? Did you help your father? Like, did your father give you there were shoes to go to certain rooms?
I don't think so. I don't have a vivid. As far as I know, he looked for all the 10, and what he had me do, I held the candle or the thing. You know what I'm saying? I helped in every room.
Yeah.
But he did it himself.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. Yeah.
No, because of this idea of mitzvah ba yosem b'shluchai. It's better. He says here it's not a contradiction to that concept, but the concept is still a concept. It's best to do a mitzvah yourself than appointing agents to do a mitzvah for you.
Okay.
Yonason, is that clear? Good. Chav Zayin. The kodim sheyascha live the givorich. You should make before you begin the bdika. You should make the bracha baruch Hashem melchelam Hashem b'zatzvanu al pir chometz on the eradication, the destruction of chometz. Muchach milshaynoi. He says that it appears from the language of shaner yedolad mikfar. The candle should be lit before you make the bracha, not after you make the bracha. And the bracha should be as close to the actual searching as possible. And because some people probably, they make a bracha and they go, where's the candle? And it's like a balagan. No. The candle should be lit. The guy, you try, whoever, you know what I'm saying? Everything should be in place. Make the bracha and begin. That's what he says. Which is, by the way you're supposed to do every mitzvah. That's why there's a whole shaila and halacha with Netilas Yadayim. When you wash, it happens Shabbos, when you have guests and you wait for everyone to come to the table. Some say it's a hefsek. Okay, we're makel, but that's why, by the way, I don't know if I don't think that's so too, but in many restaurants, talking about restaurants, when you go out and you wash, they have next to the wash basin that piece of bread because of this halacha. So there shouldn't be a hefsek between going from there to the table. So you see how much the halacha is makpid, is careful about the smichos, about the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that definitely here in Eretz. Not that I go to that many restaurants, but that's a chutzlar. In Eretz Yisrael, they don't seem to do that very much. I don't see.
But
I know. Yeah, but I understand. I know.
Yeah. But one thing's for sure, I always tell my wife, prepare the salads and bring them to the table later because we got to make the bracha as soon as possible to the natila. Okay. But one shouldn't go crazy and lose sleep over it and make fights. It's not worth it. Okay. Weiter. He says, that the mavorech, whoever's making the bracha, should hold the actual candle that's lit in his right hand, if he's a righty, in his left hand, if he's a lefty, b'shas ha-bracha, at the time of the bracha. Ubnei abayis and the household members that want to participate in the bdika, yiskavnu lotzeis b'birchosai, they should have a mind to fulfill their obligation with the house of the father's bracha. V'yanu amen. They should answer amen. Ach baruch hu baruch shmo lo yanu da have ze hefsek. And people don't know that too. And it's the same idea. You only answer baruch hu baruch shmo when you don't want to be yoytze your obligation. In this case, everyone wants to be yoytze their obligation. So baruch hu baruch shmo should not be said. But say you have someone in the house who's going to make their own bedika, right? Elsewhere, they should answer Baruch Hu Baruch Shemai. Okay, let's continue.
Well, what number are you on? Lamed?
Chav Zayin in the fourth line.
Thank you.
Actually, the fifth line after the parentheses. When you make the bracha, you have to have in mind not only the searching, but the nullification, which is called the bittul, that follows. Kol chamira v'chamir de'yike b'rishusi, that's called the bittul. V'chein ala sreifa v'abittul she'achreha, should also have in mind the burning and the nullification that will follow. V'chol echad ma'abayit kim tiyaloi gam kein sakis im nutzer ne'er. So this is, we didn't do it this way, but what he's saying here, everyone who's participating in the bdika should have a separate bag with a feather and candle. Now, I assume he's talking about those others that you've allocated to do other rooms. So if you're going to allocate usher to do a certain room and you're not going there, he has to have a separate bag, candle, and feather. That's what he says. Hillel, do you have the Pesach Chasidusi?
Oh yeah, I probably have it in my WhatsApp.
Okay, so if you want to follow, take it out. We're on page 6. We're beginning Ois Chav Ches. Or you could listen, whatever you want. Okay, Chav Ches. Any questions, or we can go on? I think it's clear. Yes, Moshe? Okay.
It's clear, thanks.
Good. Bein ha-bracha l'tchilas habdika in l'daber klal. Now, you see, between the bracha and the actual beginning of the searching, don't speak at all. Afilu minyon abdika, even of matters that are relevant to the actual search, which you are allowed to do as you continue searching. Let's say the candle blows out, or what's happens many times. Where's the peace? If you need to, you're stuck. You're allowed to speak out then. But between the beginning of the bracha and the beginning of the searching, he says ein l'daber klal, because that's a hefsek. It's mamash a hefsek. Okay? Ela b'davar she'echrech lebedika. V'nochen shelo l'soyach. Best is shelo l'soychech klal. Best is not to speak at all. Shelo me'inyan abdika b'meshach kol hazman b'dika. Not to speak at all if it's not relevant to the bdika the entire time of the bdika. So again, Moshe, we use Moshe as an example. If you're designating usher to help you, he should not be speaking out unless it's relevant to the bdika the entire time. Whereas your daughters, they're allowed to. Okay. Okay. Now we're on the Chometz. Boitkim lo'ir ner shel shaiva. We use a shaiva, a wax candle, yochid, that has one wick. V'imein lo shaiva yikach. If he doesn't have a wick candle, let him take others. I think today the contemporary poskim rule that you could take a flashlight if need be, or if it's dangerous, you know what I'm saying. I wouldn't suggest someone, if he has Parkinson's or things like that his hands are shaking, to use a candle. He's by himself. He should use a flashlight. So you have to know. Okay. Through the feather of chicken, whatever, so you could gather the little crumbs from the cracks. You do not have to close the light during the bdika, because the primary reason for light is for the cracks. In the middle of the room, with the eyes, if there's chometz, so you need light. You need light to see. The reason for the candle really is for the churim izdakim, for the cracks where the light doesn't get into. Okay, so he's saying you should not close the light.
He's saying we should not turn off the light in the room. He's saying leave the light on.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Hamakoimas hanimkorim, places that are sold. B'mechiras chometz, ein tzrichen bedika. You don't have to search any place that's sold in the mechira. Cheder shebevadois lehuchtis boy chometz b'meshach kol hashana. A room which you surely didn't bring any chometz into it, ein tzarech l'boitka, you don't have to search. Yes.
So when he writes this about you don't have to check where in places where it's been sold. So we're talking about a person who makes the mechira like a day early. Meaning he's not talking about normally the mechira goes into effect during the day after we make the search. We make the search at night. The next day the mechira goes into effect. But there are those who, for various reasons, they have to make the mechira a day early or whenever, or earlier even than that. So I'm assuming that that's what he's. I'm assuming what I'm trying to say is I'm assuming that that's what he's talking about.
Well, yes and no. That, in some situation, yes, but his main point is that you don't have to search in a room that either you're selling or in a room that you've never even if you're not selling it, but you've never gone there. I'll give you an example I have right here in the dining room. This very heavy credenza, and it's very heavy to move away.
Yeah.
Now, no one goes behind there to throw chometz there. And I don't have, little children in the house. Technically, I don't have to move that. And I have every year. I say it's not, according to halacha, it's not necessary.
Right.
And so that's the same idea. Let's say, Moshe, in your office, let's say you have a room or a place that, you never bring chometz into, and you're sure of that. You don't have to check it technically. Okay, let's go on. We're Lamed, Ois Lamed. Hamekoimis hanimikorem bevichilas chometz and tzrichim dika. No, we just said that. Lamed Aleph. Haboidik maniach hachometz shenim moitzi besakes ktana shel yeh. The one searching puts the chometz that he's found in addition to the 10 pieces. You understand? He puts it all into the little bag. Lamed Beis, he says the Rebbe writes, HaRebbe Koisef, Min Hogeinu, it's our custom, Laharech beYosef abdikas chometz, to spend lots of time searching for chometz. So the Rebbe says, Lo shamaiti bezeh shir mesuyim. I did not hear a particular time, a half an hour, 15 minutes, an hour. But the overall idea of Min Hogeinu, which is, I know for me it's a hard one to fulfill. It's really, he's saying it's our custom to spend time to really search well and not do a 1, 2, 3. So if you're able to, you're definitely doing what the Rebbe suggests. Im loy bodek as abayis, if you didn't search the house, rak chipes achar hapetitim, you only search for the 10 pieces, poshet shlo yotzer dechayves b'bdika. This is a whammy. I don't know. He doesn't give a source here, so I'm not paskening. Because, who is to say searching? Why? If I have to go to look for the piece, I'm going and I'm looking the whole time. Why isn't that called searching? I don't know. But in spirit, what I have an issue with is he's writing, you haven't fulfilled your obligation. It's a very heavy statement. But in spirit, you definitely haven't done it.
Rabbi Galvin also spent the whole night.
I know, I'm not the Alter Rebbe. I don't think you're the Alter Rebbe. And even the Rebbe who didn't spend the whole night, I know, we know from the people who were in the house, he spent quite a bit of time, several hours, I think, of searching seriously. In other words, you have to search. You have to go to every room and look. And that itself takes time. And that's why it maybe makes sense to have a son who's over bar mitzvah to help, because it's a lot of work. Whatever. Okay. Lamed Gimel. Bigmara b'dika, when you finish the b'dika maniach hasakis, you place the bag, hanoitza, the feather, v'haner, and the candle, shenoitza b'toich kaf eitz ka'ura, which has been, it's still, left over. Ma'atef hakol b'nir. So you put it into the bag and you tie the bag. Now, I don't know, I was taught that the handle of the kaf, of the spoon, sticks out of the bag. Now, I don't know if that was because of convenience, so you have something to hold on to. I don't know. That's the way I did it. So by my father. Oh, you see, he says, Lo avaloy aidek hakaf, shenisha bilti me'utav. The handle of the kaf, of the spoon, should not be in the bag, but should protrude out. So he says the same thing. Umahadik aidek chut, shekoychoy saviv hanir, you should tie it with a string, well, kama pomim v'koyshra, and you tie it up. Moving shetzorach lizor. It's understandable. You have to be careful. Shaloi lahachnis l'sakis es adaf sheboy habracha. Yeah, you shouldn't put together with all the stuff in the bag the page you use to make the brachas. Because many of the Chometz kids have that, and meanwhile you'll be burning. Shemus. You should put the bag in a guarded place, observable to the eye. Don't put it away. Well, again, tomorrow you won't remember where it is. Almanas, so put it high up somewhere on top of the refrigerator or whatever. And it's in a bag, Almanas yishkach l'sarfai, so that you won't forget to burn it to macharas be'esh streifas chometz while you do streifa beer chometz. B'mikra shebotko chometz, in a situation where you search for chometz. V'chipsu heitiv, and you searched well. V'lei motzu was kol aseret ptitim. And guess what? You didn't find all the 10 pieces. Efshar limsech ala mechira v'ala bittul. You could rely on the sale of chometz and the nullification, and you can go into Pesach with a good spirit, and it's been annulled. Yes.
I heard that the bag has to be a paper bag. Did you hear anything about that?
Well, what do you mean a Pesach bag? It shouldn't have chometz in it?
No, paper.
A paper. That's what I've seen. It has to be. I don't see why it has to be, but it burns well. Did you hear a reason, or you just heard that it has to be that way?
I heard it has to be that way.
Yeah, everyone does it that way, but I don't think that Alpidinya has to be.
Isn't that brought in the Sefer Menagim? Paper bag?
Yeah, it probably is. I'm saying that's the way it should be done. But again, if someone doesn't do it, it's not that he hasn't done the mitzvah. You have to always discern between what the halacha is and what a minig is. And, this is especially when it comes to these type of things. And you have to know that because it's going to come up. Someone will take a plastic bag. So you can tell me, you haven't been yotze the mitzvah. That's ridiculous. Of course you've been yotze the mitzvah. But of course, yes. What?
Let me just ask you another question. Connected to the bedika, so I always go and make the bedika after I'm bodek the house. I then go over to my studio,
right,
to do bedika there. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure that when I literally go from the house to the studio, I don't make a new bracha at the studio.
Right.
Is that unless there's been a big amount of time?
Right. If there's a hefsek, iyuni, you've totally masiach das, then you have to make another bracha probably. But otherwise, we do it that way. Yes. And that's my father too. When he had a factory, I remember after he did it here, he went right away to his factory to do b'dikas chametz there. So that's the best way to do it. Okay, Lamed Dalet. Miyad achar bedika, right after the bedika, yevatel as chometz, annul the chometz, hanimtza b'chol gvuli, that's found throughout your premises, shalei motzu b'bedika. And what are you being mevatel? What are you annulling? The chometz that you did not find in your search. You're not annulling the chometz that you hid for eating or for burning. You have to fulfill the obligation of burning tomorrow. So how could you have in mind, I want to annul this chometz? Well, you don't want to it because you want to have it. So you should take it and put it into a fire tomorrow. So what are we being mevatel in the kol chamira at night? Only chometz that we did not find in our bedika. Is that clear? Hello? Do you understand what I just said or not?
No.
Okay. We say kol chamir at night after the bedika. What chometz are we being mevatel? Right? We're annulling all. Are we annulling the chometz that tomorrow morning we want to eat breakfast at Cheerios? No, because you want to eat it tomorrow morning. Are we annulling the chometz that we found that we're going to burn tomorrow? No, because we need to have it to burn. We're annulling all chometz that we did not find in our bdika. So we're saying, in case there's chometz we didn't find, all of that should be annulled. That's all he said. There's no novelty. It's just being clear. And he says, I didn't know about it. It should be annulled. You look at the taich in the siddur. You have to know the taich. Yeah, so make sure you know the taich in Aramaic, Yiddish, Hebrew, English, or any language. You have to know what you're saying. This isn't abracadabra. Otherwise, it's nothing. If you read this and you don't know what you're saying, you haven't done a bittul, you should know. It's very important to tell people this, that, you want to say it because it's in the Siddur and the Aramaic, please. But make sure you know the language, the translation. Very important. The Minhag Chabad is not to say a Yehi Ratzon. Other Siddurim, other Minhagim have that. Our Minhag is not to. Okay. V'ikra le'abitl. Where is the primary?
You're talking about the Yehi Ratzon. You mean a Yehi Ratzon at night?
At night. Tomorrow, we're talking here at night. This is Leil B'dikas Chometz. V'ikra abitl u'belev. The primary abode of the bitl is in the heart. Sheyosim b'libei shekol chometz v'rusei. What should you pay attention to? That whatever chometz I have b'reshusai, harihu ki'ilu einoi, is not. It's as though I don't have it. Ve'ena choshev klum. It's not worth anything. V'arihu ka'ofar. It's like dust. We're on page 7 now, top line. U'kedavar she'ein b'yitzayach klal. And it's like it has no purpose. Oh, it's important that what's being said should be understood by the one saying it. If he doesn't know the translation of the words, the Aramaic words, he should say it in a language that he understands. French, Arabic, any language that you understand. That's what you have to say in it. The translation of the words in Hebrew is Kol Chometz v'Se'oid, all Chometz and Se'oid and Sheyesh B'Rshusi Shelo Re'itiv, which I didn't see, V'Shelo Bi'artiv, which I didn't destroy, V'Shelo Yedaitiv, which I didn't know. Yipotel should be annulled, V'Yeh, and shall be Hefker, ownerless, Ki Ofar Ha'oretz, like the dust of the earth. Imoma Anusach Habita B'Loshen She'mevin Klal. Okay. If he says it in a language that he doesn't understand what he's saying, Ach Yodeya shekavanosi levatlos hachometz, he knows one thing, that his kavana is to annul the chometz, so he said ulafkirin, to make it ownerless. In that case, yotzi de chavosoi. I was talking about when he didn't have that kavana. But he says if he had a kavana, even though he doesn't understand it, he's yotzer. But again, it's not the preferred way to do it that way. You should understand what you're saying. But this too, it's important. Tomorrow, the next day, you'll be talking to someone and you'll say, oh, so, did you understand what you were saying? No, I had no idea, but I just read it in the siddur. So you might want to say, do it again. No. What you ask him, did you have in mind that you want to be mevatel the chometz? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was told to say this because this annuls the chometz. Fine, you're yotze. But if you don't have that in mind, you're not yotze either. So you have to know. Weiter, lamed hey. Achar abdika yizor b'chometz shemashir l'sreifa l'achila. After the bdika, be careful with the chometz that you left over for sreifa or lachila. L'shamroi sheloi yolichu lebeisel kanu l'sham. Don't schlep it around here, there, and everywhere. As a chometz hanimtze bdika noyagim lislev v'mochaz v'boiker. And what we find, we burn tomorrow. Okay, let's go to Mechiras Chometz. Lamed Vav. Yes.
This year, on Friday morning, we don't have the chiyuv for burning the hummus.
I know, news.
Anywhere.
What?
Burn the hummus anywhere.
Yeah, but on Friday sometime, you can't burn it on Shabbos, right?
No, of course not. So on Friday morning, we should burn the hummus.
You're saying you don't have a chiyuv to burn it Friday morning because it's not Erev Pesach.
No, but it has to be burned anyway because there's no other time to burn it.
Yeah. Mechiras Chometz. Kidei loy laver al iser bal yiro bal yomotzi. In order not to desecrate the prohibition of it should not be seen, it should not be found. Al chometz hanisher babayis, regarding the chometz that's left over in your house. Skip the parentheses for now. V'chein kidei shechometz zeh yeh moiser muter b'shimush achar Pesach. And also in order for this chometz that you leave over should be acceptable for after Pesach. If you need the car, take it. Mukorim moichrim oisel legoy. So we sell it to a non-Jew, b'emtzoyis rav, through a rav. Skip the parentheses. Harebi bikesh the parsem, the Rebbe requested to publicize al dvar mechiras chometz, regarding mechiras chometz, sheyesh bekach zikuy rabim, that by doing so for others, you're being giving schus l'rabim, a merit for the masses, v'hasaras michshoil, and removing an obstacle. And now what this means is, and I remember we used to do it, many times you would write down names of people you know who, whether you knew they wouldn't sell the chametz because they get all, flabbergasted and famished and worried, selling, I don't want to sell, they can't, they don't understand the whole concept. Or you don't get to them, you can write down their name and sell their chametz for them. That's what he's referring to.
Does that mean
without their consent or knowledge?
Yes. There's a concept called Zochin Le'adam Shelo Befanov. This is definitely a schus, right? You're taking away a Bal Yiro, Bal Yemotze. I know it sounds like a game, but it's not. It's not. Now, does it mean?
So supposing you have somebody, a Jew, chas v'shalom, who's not going to stop eating chametz on Pesach, right? And you go ahead and say, I don't want him to be over, so I'm going to sell his chametz.
Yes.
So that's what we've said so far. So the next morning he goes out and he eats Cheerios. Isn't that isn't that an Indian of gazela?
Oh, very good. It is, but which is a worse mitzvah, gazela or eating chametz on Pesach? And that's the answer.
He's still over the issue of eating chametz.
Yes, but he's not eating his chametz.
So what's the mile of that lalata?
I believe that it's not bal yiro. Bal yomotzi means yours. So there's three things.
He's still seeing it.
Yeah.
He's still finding it.
Hillel, when you and I go into Rite Aid or Walgreens or whatever you have over there, next to Sro Baruch Hashem, it's, you see chametz. I had the issue. I can't take it if I have to go out for the kids chalamoid, into the local, and I like try to cover myself from, Bal Yiro. No, because the issue of Bal Yiro, Bal Yomotze, I don't have the Sforim in front of me, but I believe it's chal on your chametz. Otherwise, you're not allowed to go into a store that has chametz. It's not yours. You're allowed to. The answer is you're allowed to. The fact that I
understand.
Right. So, and the fact that he's eating, yes, it's of course an issue. We know that, but it's not his. So it's better for it not to be his. He's not the owner versus otherwise. Listen, I'm sure this is maybe debated in the poskim. We have to take out the svarim, but that's the idea. Listen,
that's all.
I would say, especially a relative, a friend, if you know. Shatness is the Yiddish word. It don't hurt to include him in the Mechinas Chometz, to be to take that, Yeah. Okay, Moshe. Now you. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I had the exact same question.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Listen. I would think you would get a different psak from other non-Lubavitcher Rabbanim. That's the psak generally in the Chabad world. Okay.
So let me ask another Chabad versus other Hasidus question.
Yeah.
The Hasidus that I was involved in, from the Twersky, was very strict on not having any Chometz Gomer over Pesach. And the Lubavitchers I've known seem to be, who are very strict in almost every other aspect of Pesach, did not seem to be strict on that.
Well, I'm not. You said Chometz Gomer. I'm not following. What? I didn't follow.
Some things for foods with Chometz Gomer, like beer or something that when you sell it and put it away.
Oh, that it shouldn't be included in your sale? Is that what you're saying?
No. Of course, it's included in your sale, but that you don't keep it. You don't keep it in your house.
You could
just was curious about the svara behind the difference.
You could also say, like, an example would be, let's say, like, a lot of people who we might know in circles here. There would be a lot of people that we would know in circles here who, like, they would not sell, like, scotch or whiskeys. They would finish it before Pesach.
Yeah, they would not have it in their house over Pesach.
They would not. Not only would they not have it in their house, but they wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't.
Right. Okay.
They would dispose of it before Pesach.
Okay. Well, look, we know that the Rebbe, I think, in the name of the Tzemach Tzedek, when the Rebbe gave out to people during the year some vodka or different things, bottles, he told, he wanted that it should be finished before Pesach. He didn't want it to. Yeah, for sure. Now, the question is halachically, but I know my wife. We try to get rid of as much chametz as possible, and if it would be possible, to get rid of everything. So I'm not sure, Hillel. You're right in saying this. There's a difference between the Twerskis and the Chabad. I think it has to do with halacha minig, and maybe just over time, people have become a little more lenient in this area.
So let me ask a related question to that. So I had the impression that it was a custom in Chabad, and that might be from friends. That beer that you received at Shalach Manas was put aside with the chametz that was sold and was used for Havdalah after Pesach. So is that a true, or do I have a misunderstanding?
It's true that I think we try to do that Motzoi Pesach. But again, there I think it's only that item for a specific thing after Pesach.
But it would be kept. I mean, so that was my understanding of the difference.
Yeah, but again, I don't. He might be talking about all this soon. So
okay.
Let us maybe go further and see what he says.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I'm just saying. We're getting into details. Let's see what he says. Okay. Lamed Zayin Noyagin Lase says Harav leMoirasha Dahainu Yipit Koyach leBechiras Chometz. The rabbi serves as a broker. Okay, the rabbi serves as a broker on your behalf to sell the chometz. Varav Moicher as a chometz legoy ba'orav kablan, and he sells it with what's called an orav kablan. You know what an Erev Kabbalah is?
No, can you
Some
we
kind of
just go
receipt?
over that?
No. Explain. Let me explain tomorrow what an Erev Kabbalah is. I want to get,
Okay.
It's a middleman someone who takes responsibility on the sale. There's a rabbi, and then there's someone who guarantees, like you give a loan, a guarantor.
Mm-hmm.
That's what an Erev Kabbalah is.
Okay.
According to the strict Alter Rebbe, the way Chometz should be sold is this way. We don't do it this way. Most people. I've seen.
Meaning a middleman that you can rely on, who's vouching for the integrity of the goy, that he'll do his part of the deal.
Not just the integrity of the goy, the integrity of the whole process and the sale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is that?
We don't do it this way. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. Some individuals do it this way. They have they emphasize a certain halacha in the Alter Rebbe that this is the way to do it. Most do not do it this way.
Wait a second.
Okay.
There's a rabbi who sells the chometz, and then they make sure there's someone else who takes responsibility, another Jew, that the sale will happen. And they have him sign on the document.
So that's okay. So it seems across the board that in terms of in Chabad, the Chabad Rabbanim seem to be that's the way.
No, I don't know. Maybe that sold's different. No, you have a Rav who makes the sale, and you sign, and that's it. There's no.
No, but no. What I'm saying is that across, it seems every year there's whenever you see like a Lubavitcher Rav is dealing with this, there's always an emphasis on made to point out that that there's going to be like an Erev Kabbalah.
Okay, if there is, in New York it's not done that way. If it is done that way, fine.
Even the Lubavitch circles in New York.
Yeah.
Non-Chabad circles, it's not done this way.
It's not done this way in most Chabad circles out in America. Let's continue. Bebeis Rabbeinu in the Rabbeim, the Lubavitch Rebbe's home, Mochrem as a Chometz l'Rav. You do sell the Chometz to a Rav, Betziruf or of Kablan, together with a guarantor or of Kablan. V'hu moichrei l'goy. And he, that's what we're telling Hillel, and he, the Or of Kablan, sells it to the goy because he's taking responsibility. The rabbi's not taking responsibility. Who is the guarantor? This individual. That's the way that's what we're talking about. Bismano achrin. Lately, ein medagdakim b'mesiras hamafteach b'bechiras chometz. It used to be, it seems like, that they would give over the keys. He says lately people don't do that. Lamed ches. HaChometz hamocher tzorach liyasoger umutim b'tzura b'letters, that someone the chometz that's sold has to be absolutely closed. Kedak kach shloi tia eilav gisha b'toys b'mesach haPesach. You shouldn't make a mistake and they go in there. Before I forget, I told you this a few years ago, but I say it again. Again, you don't have an Eretz Yisrael, I think. But you got to be so careful when you go into these stores that have Chometz and Pesach. And sometimes you take something off the shelf in the Chometz department. By mistake, the person that stocks the shelf puts something in that's not Chometz. So make sure you always check, because I had this issue one year. Geferlach. So I want to say it, so I shouldn't forget. Okay, let's go back. Talsa shkufe shel aronos. Like I have here, my Cardanza has glass, the glass doors. Shnimtsoyin achemetz v'kelev. That chometz and the kelim are there. Nochon lachasas biniyar. Nochon. It's proper to cover it with paper. Why? Because of Bal Yeroah. And if someone doesn't do it, he has not violated Pesach. See, we have to know that. Because things come expensive and tedious and you're running around and all that. So you have to know that it's not a violation. It's very important because people go berserk You didn't cover the shelf. So what? These are all chumras. As long as you cleaned it off, you don't have to cover the shelf. Okay. Because you're not looking at chometz be'en. If there was chometz be'en, mamoshes, you actually saw chometz, then you have to bal yeroi. You're not allowed to see it, right? But if it's not chometz be'en, what's the problem? So it's a cup, it's a wine cup, a becher. No, but now it's clean. But the minig is, I don't have the word minig. What we do is we do cover it. Okay. Noyagim shaloi limkar b'mechilas chometz dover Michael Mashka shekiblu marebi. You see, it's customary not to sell in mechilas chometz some food or mashka that you receive from the Rebbe. V'lochein oichlin v'sheisim oisam koydem haPesach. He said, because this is based on a story that Tzemach Tzedek, so the Rebbe, ubeles breida yesh levar, we have no choice, yesh levarim kedin lifnei seif zman abir, at least be mevatel them. I don't know. Go ahead.
What's the distinction? What makes that, what?
Because the Rebbe made a point because of a story of his great-grandfather, Tzemach Tzedek, who said you shouldn't hold something of his that he gave that was Chabad on Pesach. So the Rebbe conducted himself that way. But in Halacha, you're allowed to. That's what we're saying. You're allowed to. That's what you asked me. What I said.
But I'm asking more spiritually, like, what's the particular idea of the Rebbe gave you something? Not having it overpaid.
Because it's chometz. The Rebbe was very, spiritually, it doesn't want chometz in the world. Pesach, we don't want chometz in the world. So it's tzaddik.
But it doesn't even say chametz. You used the example earlier, vodka. So you could have, non-chametzdika vodka that they're.
No, we're talking about the chametz vodka, not non-chametz vodka. Yes, Yonason.
Okay. So the minhag would not apply, say, if the Rebbe gave you a bottle of wine.
No. A bottle that's kosher l'peit. Yeah, correct. Yes, Yonason.
I think the issue is that the master should not go into the That's the problem.
The what?
I couldn't hear that, Yonasan. Could you say that again? Yonasan, can I ask a favor?
Yeah.
Before you say, Yonasan, could you put your face more in the camera when you speak? Because I often can't hear. Yeah, that's better. Can you say that again, please?
Yeah. That the gave
Our computer.
On it, and you don't want that to be transferred to the board.
Oh. Yeah. He might. You might have to. Yeah, you might be right. That's the reason. I have to.
Very interesting.
What did he say? I didn't hear it.
He said that with the Rabbeim, the main idea was not that you're not allowed to have the chometz. It shouldn't be transferred to a non-Jew's possession. Okay. Spiritually. Yonason, you saw that inside? You heard it from our mashpia or what?
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, maybe I'll talk it around. And Chavra, I'm gonna go now. We'll see everyone tomorrow. So this week it has to be this time, okay? So if you can make it, try. If you can't. Have a good day. Tzlocha. Bye.
When do we? I don't think we changed till after Pesach, or during Pesach.
Right. So no, I'm learning. I don't know until either Sunday or Monday. Monday not maybe. So we're just learning this week. So it's just these 3-4 days that it's just a little difference in time. Okay?
Okay, shkoyach.
Sei gesund. Take care.
Cancellation on it, so I could make it today. Glad I could.
Take care. Bye-bye.
What?